Good morning, everyone. My name is Dejan Byrne, and I'm a health and safety consultant from THSP. Thank you for joining me today for our Toolbox Talk on environmental nuisances and waste management. So the purpose of today's Toolbox Talk is to raise awareness of environmental nuisances, how they affect communities and the environment, and the legal and practical responsibilities we have to prevent them. This applies across construction, manufacturing, transport, hospitality, retail, offices, and also other sectors. So firstly, what is an environmental nuisance? So noise pollution. So from the construction industry, this could be equipment such as jackhammers, concrete breakers, piling rigs, operating at night in urban areas. From factories, we've got the machinery, so the continuous humming, grinding, or metal stamping that disrupts nearby homes. Consideration should be given to air conditioning units, so large rooftop condensers or refrigeration compressors producing constant droning. Delivery vehicles, early morning loading bays with reversing alarms, hydraulic lifts, and engine idling. Loud amplified music, outdoor events, nightclubs or bars with bass heavy sounds carrying long distances. Transport infrastructure, aircrafts taking off over residential areas and railways shunting the yards at night. We also have dust and airborne particles as part of our nuisances. So demolition works, the collapse of like concrete walls producing high density of dust without proper management, cutting or sanding of materials. So timber mills or metal workshops emitting real fine particulate matter. Bulk material handling, open coal stockpiles or cement silos releasing dust during transfer. Packaging facilities, so flour, powdered chemicals or grain packaging leaking through inadequate seals. We also have unpaved roads or yards. So if they're unpaved or roads or yards and there's heavy vehicles moving along them, that's going to cause persistent clouds of dust in dry conditions. We also have light pollution. So overly bright security lights, motion active lamps left on. That's going to disturb neighbours' windows and could cause you difficulty for people sleeping. Floodlights on construction sites, if they're kept on all night, again, that could affect the sleep cycles of nearby residents. Signage as well, so any illuminated signage, so from billboards or shop fronts, again, this can cause glare into people's apartments, into their bedrooms, so this can again be a big nuisance. Sports facilities, so stadiums with floodlighting that could spill out into residential streets and affect people well past midnight. Car dealerships or parking lots with continuous overhead lighting, and without proper management and timers, this again can cause a nuisance. We then move on to vibration. So from roadworks, we've got heavy rollers, pneumatic drills for the excavation work, shaking any adjacent buildings. Piling for foundations, so long percussive piling causing cracking in nearby plaster or masonry. Quarry blasting, explosions generating ground tremors felt kilometers away. Heavy industrial equipment, large presses of turbines vibrating through floors and walls. And again, rail freight lines, continuous low frequency vibration from passing trains disrupting sleep or sensitive equipment. We have odours. So again, waste processing facilities, they can let off obviously rotten organic matter from transferring stations or composting plants. Commercial kitchens, strong fumes from fires, grills, smokehouses vented into residential areas. Chemical stores, spilled solvents or improperly sealed containers leaking pungent vapors out into the open. Agricultural sources, so manure spread or poorly covered slurry pits in rural communities. And poorly managed waste sewer systems. These can be overflowing, leaking septic tanks, producing persistent and horrible foul smells. We then move on to waste management. So littering, so public spaces, bus stops or parks scattered with food, packaging and bottles. Fly tipping, illegal dumping, discarded furniture, tyres or building rubble in rural lanes. A big accumulation of refuse, so overflowing bins, attracting rats, foxes or other wildlife, including insects. Improper disposal of hazardous materials, batteries, paint, medical waste left in just the general rubbish streams. Construction waste, so uncovered skips or piles of debris spreading dust and debris into the pavement. Water pollution, oil or chemical spills, so vehicles, service yards or industrial plants leaking into storm drains. Sediment runoff, unprotecting the building sites, which wash and silt into the nearby streams during rainfall. Sewage discharge, so faulty treatment plants or illegal connections contaminating rivers or beaches. Agricultural runoff, fertilizers, pesticides and animal waste polluting lakes and groundwater. And then the industrial cooling water, heated discharges altering aquatic ecosystems. So what responsibilities do we have? So under legal responsibilities, we have the Environmental Protection Act 1990. This covers statutory nuisances, waste handling and a duty of care. The Waste in England and Wales Regulations 2011 requires waste segregation, transfer notes and a waste hierarchy compliance. The Control of Pollution Act 1974, control noise, vibration and waste in certain activities. The Clean Neighbourhood and Environment Act 2005, this addresses litter, graffiti, light pollution and waste crime. The Hazardous Waste Regulations of 2005 covers classification of storage and disposal of hazardous waste. Failure to comply can result in fines, which can be unlimited in some cases. Prosecution, work stoppages and a reputational damage. So if you're not managing this correctly, it can lead to a big reputational damage. And as we know, environment is such an important part of all of our works now. And going forward, it's going to be even a bigger part. So what are some good examples of good practice? So let's have a look at some of the different industries and have a look at where we can look at some good practices. So for the construction industry, dust suppression using water sprays, wheel wash facilities to avoid getting mud on the roads, scheduled deliveries to reduce noise at unsociable hours, segregated skips for timber, metal, inert waste. In the manufacturing industry, filter systems for emissions, safe storage of chemicals and oils to prevent leaks, and scheduled waste collections to prevent a build-up. In the hospitality and retail industry, waste stored securely away from public areas, food waste disposed of promptly to avoid odour and pests, and recycling stations for glass, cardboard and plastics. In offices, recycling paper, toner and cartridges and e-waste, reducing single-use plastics and correct disposal of confidential documents. So, what are the waste management best practices? So if we apply the waste hierarchy, which is reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, dispose. Segregate waste at source, so paper, plastic, metal, food and hazardous. Label waste containers. Keep the containers clearly labelled and also keep the lids closed. Always use licensed waste carriers and obtain waste transfer notes so you know where that waste is going and it's being disposed of by a competent carrier. Avoid contamination, keep recyclables free from food or liquid. Hazardous waste, store in compliant containers, keep spill kits available and use consignment notes. Controlling other environmental nuisances. So noise, maintain equipment, make sure it's in good condition, use silencers, schedule loud activities during appropriate hours. Dust, dampen down the surfaces, cover skips over and avoid dry sweeping. Lighting, use the directional lighting, avoid unnecessary overnight illumination. Vibration, monitor with vibration meters and plan work to reduce prolonged exposures. Odours, keep sealed, ensure ventilation, keep waste sealed, ensure ventilation and keeps clean spills immediately. Water protection, never pour waste into surface drains, use bunds around fuel and chemical storage. So why does this matter? So we're going to protect the public health. If we're not just getting all of this into the air, it reduces respiratory issues, stress and other impacts, preserves the environment, prevents pollution of air, land and water, maintains good community relations, reduces complaints and builds trust. It also ensures that we are compliant, avoids costly legal actions and protects your organisation's reputation. So what is an employee's responsibility? So follow any site's rules and company waste procedures, They must report any leaks, spills, excessive noise or dust immediately, challenge poor waste practices politely but firmly, keep records of waste disposal where required, and wear the appropriate PP when needed for environmental hazards. So the key takeaways are environmental nuisances are not just an annoyance. They are regulated under the UK law, and everyone is responsible for preventing pollution and managing waste correctly. Proper waste segregation and nuisance control will benefit the business, the public, and the planet. I really appreciate your time today attending the THSP Toolbox Talk. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, please raise that up with the account executive and they will be able to answer them for you. But thank you for your time today. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.